Hello, work life warriors. I hope you're doing well. Today, I wanted to stop past and talk a little bit about the book I read this week, and it's called The Go Giver. This is one of the books that I read every year. I try to read it before spring every year. This is, I think, like my third or fourth year reading it. It is a very good book. Sometimes when I'm feeling down, when I get lost, I pick it up and reread it, and it helps to renew me and to help me focus again. And it is a very, very great book. It's a quick read. You can read it in about an hour or less, depending on how quickly you read. And it has some very powerful information, and it helps you to reset your mindset. So I just kind of want to go over a few passages in the book that I thought was interesting, or I would say that triggered experiences that I could apply the knowledge to. So it wasn't just about reading the book, it was also about as I was reading it, it triggered memories or moments in the past where I was or wasn't practicing the principles and or the techniques. And so it's just a very practical tool to help you reflect. And the information is so easy to digest, and it's easy to for you to apply it to your everyday life or see where you are lacking this information in your everyday life. So let's go through. I don't have that many, maybe about four or five. So the first one, he is talking about success. So he's talking about the level of success. And he's saying that everybody gets to define what they think success is. And everyone has their own different levels of success. But to get to the highest level of success, as far as like tangibly, in the book, he asks the person like, "Oh, you've met so many, celebrities or well-to-do people. Are they nice people?" And so this was his response to meeting so many influential, powerful, profitable people. He said, "I believe that a person can reach a certain level of success without being particularly special, but to really But to get really, really big, to reach that kind of stratospheric success we're talking about, people need to have something on the inside, something that's genuine." And so this quote reminds me of Stephen Covey. He always talk about the personality versus the character ethic. So in our society, we have a lot of books that teach us to change our personality, to be a type of person that attracts certain things. And while it is successful to it can be successful to pick up tools to help you to get to where you want to go. Ultimately, if you're using them and it's not a part of you, it is a tool, and it's a little inauthentic. Instead of finding a way where this experience becomes you, you use it as a tool, something that you could pick up and put down, and it's really inauthentic. In order for it to be authentic, you have to embody it, you have to live it, you have to become it. And so there's so many quick tips to get success, to change your personality, to get people to like you, to get influence. But it's temporary and it doesn't last forever. You will accumulate success or a certain level of success. But if you want the ultimate level of success, you will have to work on your character first. And your character is the most important part of this experience because it's how you know yourself. And it's through your character that you make decisions in this world that align with your values, or basically that are for you or against you. So if you're not developing your character and you spend a lot of time developing your personality, you're at a deficit because you're using tools that are inauthentic to yourself to get what you want. And meanwhile, without investing that time in yourself, you don't know who you are. So everything in this life comes at an opportunity cost. So when you're learning tools and techniques to master your personality, you're doing it at the expense of mastering your character. And your character is really what's going to take you the distance. And so it's very important for us to focus on having the character that we want, or that of having the character of the people that we would like to run across, or that we would like to be involved with, or who would help us becoming the change you want to see. Because other than that, you're just a part of the problem and being fake, proposing solutions and tools that only work in the short run. So personality ethic tools only work in the short run. They do not work in the long term. So it's better for you to invest in your character, because you're always going to be yourself. Your character is ever enduring. It's a part of you, and it will be with you until you're no longer here. It's the oldest part of you, and it's the part that should be honored. It's the part that you should live your life through, and not your personality. The next one, he says, the majority of people operate with the mindset that says to the fire, first give me heat, then I'll throw on some logs. Or they say to the bank, give me interest on my money, then I'll make a deposit. And of course, it just doesn't work that way. And yes, that is an example of how people perceive life, especially with this personality and character ethic. When you focus on your personality, it is like asking the fire to give you wood. Asking the fire to give you heat before you place the wood in, or asking the bank to give you interest and there's no money in the account. And so your character has to be right, effective. It has to be worked on. It has to be mastered before you tend to work on things with your personality. As a matter of fact, the more you focus on fixing your character, your personality also changes and grows and develop in a way that is beneficial and useful and serves the greater good of humanity. And so again, when you are focusing on your personality, you're serving yourself. When you focus on your character, you're serving the world. You are being of service to the world by being authentically yourself. And we have a lot of people who tend to show up and act just like everyone else. And if they are acting like everyone else, who's being them? So the greatest gift you can ever give the world, the greatest gift you can ever give yourself, is to be authentically yourself. And so the best thing that you can do, because you can't control the outside world, is to control your character development. So when anything on the outside world is not working to your favor, it doesn't hurt you as much. It's not a requirement of where you're trying to go. It's a matter of maybe this is not the right path to get there. And so developing your character is so important, as far as resiliency, as far as anti-fragility. You need to have these things in order to be able to maneuver in the world and be effective in the world. You need to be resilient. You need to be anti-fragile. You need to be able to push back. You need to be able to show up and be yourself and be authentic. And that takes character. That takes you building and working on your character, being strong in who you are before you go out into this world who tries to sway you to be someone differently or different than who you are. The next one says, he's talking about in life. He's saying, do people get what they get in life? Is that true? Do people, is a saying that says you can't always get what you want, which is absolutely true. You can't always get what you want, but that's not really what is the caveat. The caveat is you get what you expect. So it's not just about what you want, because you can want something, but if you don't expect to get it, you'll never get it. There's many people who want things and don't expect that they'll get it. They don't feel worthy. They don't feel like they deserve it. And so they'll never get it. So wanting it is not enough. You have to believe that you can get it. You have to believe that you're worthy of getting it. You have to expect and trust that you will get it. Everything is a process, and trusting that you will get it don't mean that you sit around inactive waiting for life to happen to you. It means that you proactively do what you can to get it, to get what you want, to get what you expect. Because if you think about what goes in must come out. So if I put in a lot of effort has to accumulate into something that will come out for me. Now, again, there's some hardworking people in the world who work the hardest. They work in mines, they do really hard work, and they don't get paid what they're worth. They do not get paid for the amount of effort that they put in. They do not get paid equivalent to the amount of effort that they put in. But the question remains is, do they expect that pay? What are their expectations? If they expect to only make a certain amount of money because that's how much they think they're worthy, then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So when the book talks about you get what you expect, to me, he's talking about self-fulfilling prophecies. Life can give you what you ask of it, what you require of it, what you're willing to do the work for, and what you expect. If you don't expect that it can come, then you won't work for it to come. You won't work to bring it into fruition. And so you have to switch your mindset to, I can get what I expect to get, and I will do the work expecting that the effort that I put in will bring out what I need. Another thing that he talks about, so he's talking about the idea of self-fulfilling prophecies. And he says that depending on what you think of the world is what will show up over and over again. So if you think the world is a dog-eat-dog world, that's what you'll see over and over again. If you think that people exploit people, that's what you'll see over and over again. You get what you expect in this world. And so your mindset basically create the world that you live in. Because if you think that your world is bad, you'll see bad only. If you think your world is good, you'll see, good, mostly good. And so it's just a matter of switching your mindset to, you can have what you want in this world as long as you expect to have it and do the work. And so he goes on to say is, go looking for the best people and you'll be amazed at how much talent, empathy, and goodwill you'll find. Ultimately, the world treats you more or less the way you expect to be treated. And absolutely, that is absolutely true from my personal experiences. Self-fulfilling prophecies are true. If you do not think you're worthy, you cannot conjure, or you cannot create, or you cannot attract a worthy, partner, predicament, experience, event, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish it. You have to be it to attract it. So if you want positivity, you have to be positive. You want fun, you have to be fun. You want funny, you have to be funny. You want someone who is going to be, strong and supportive and loyal. You have to become these things. And you have to expect that in becoming them, putting in the effort to become them, you will attract them. You have to expect that. You have to do the work to know that you're worthy of receiving anything you expect to have in this life. As long as you do the work to obtain it and you're willing to wait the time for it to appear, it will eventually appear. And so it's a matter of, again, grit, determination, resiliency, anti-fragility, and creating the experiences we want in the world, even if they're absent right now in our lives. So if it's absent in your life, you can create it. And by creating it, you create momentum for more of it to be attracted to you and to your experiences. Another one is this idea of either or. So society has this idea that of just kind of like a dichotomy, like either or. Either it's right or wrong, it's up or down, it's left or right. But I, a long time ago, decided that I don't have to choose either or. I can choose and in both. Why can't it be and in both? Actually, and in both creates harmony. It doesn't have to be either or. It could be left and right. It doesn't have to be left or right. Depending on where you're standing, it can be left or right. And when you say, it can be left and right, but when you close down the other option, when you make a solid stance, you close yourself off to any other possibility that it can be anything more out of your scope. And so it's a matter of always saying and, and, or both, so that now it expands the scope and you can see options that were no longer there when you go or. Either or creates a limited option pool than and both. And both gives you more options and opens up more options that may be effective than either or. And so, kind of with this mindset of either or, it's hard when you think about it in context like, oh, do I want to, for instance, do I want to work or be an entrepreneur? But why can't you do both? Do I want to, be a teacher or a student? Why can't you be both? Do I want to be, anything? It can be, you can do both. It doesn't have to be either or. You can make and both work because they provide more options, and with more options, more opportunities for you to solve your needs. And so I don't want us to limit ourselves by choosing either or. It's not ABC. It's A, B, C through Z to infinity. And as long as you keep and both as an option, infinity is always an option. And so I don't want us to close our mind to the and or both. So when he says, my belief says you're one or the other, you can't be both. A lot of us have that mindset. We can't be, a professional in fun. They don't go hand in hand. We can't be serious and fun. We can't be, a lot of things, happy and sad. When you can be both happy and sad, it's not an either or. You could be excited and fearful. It's not an either or. It doesn't have to be that way. And I know that the society programs us to be either or, but you have to change your mindset to and both because it serves you better. It gives you more options that may not be in the norm, may not be the normal choices, may not be something that was in scope before you, recalibrated and asked in or and both instead of either or. Another one of the things that I thought that was very interesting is we all have these comfort zones, and our comfort zones come from things that we have done over and over and over and over again. And then therefore we become comfortable with them. It becomes our norm. It becomes what we can do without even thinking. We can go into our autopilot. Our muscle has memory from it. And so a lot of times, a lot of things that we're doing throughout the day is just, an autopilot. It's just a muscle memory. And we don't really think about, the things that we're doing. It makes us comfortable. We don't really have to push outside of our comfort zones. And so we kind of just go through the motions every single day. And so when you've been doing something, let's say you've been smoking cigarettes for 20 years and you know that you have to replace that habit with something else because it's hard to break a habit. So you can't just stop smoking. You have to replace that habit with something else. But say like your habit is something that is not the norm. You don't want to replace the habit of smoking with a habit of eating because now you just replace one health concern for another. So you try to replace it for something that may be beneficial but may not be deemed acceptable in society. So for instance, every time you want a cigarette, you have a cigarette craving, you combine the idea of every time I have a craving, instead I'll just dance to get the energy out. I'll do me a little 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute dance just to kind of let the energy pass me so that I can, move beyond that moment where I feel like I need a cigarette. So I'm going to dance. But it doesn't matter where I'm at. If I feel like I need a cigarette, I'm going to dance. But let's say you're at work at the moment and you're having strong cravings for a cigarette and you can't escape to, go somewhere private and do your little dance. Do you do your dance in front of everyone to push away the craving? Or do you decide, I'm not going to do the dance because I don't want to be embarrassed, I don't want to look foolish, I don't want to look stupid, so I'll sit here in pain internally, fiending for a cigarette instead of releasing my pressure through my dance. And so in the book, he says, he talks about doing what's out of your comfort zone, even when it makes you feel foolish. If it works for you, if it's effective for you, and it serves your needs, then do it, regardless of what other people think about you. And most importantly, even if it doesn't feel comfortable in the moment when you're doing it, because you're only comfortable with something because you tried it so many times. So when you're trying something new, you will not be comfortable. It will seem foolish. It will seem ridiculous because it's not the norm. It's not your go-to. It's not what you normally do. So you have to be willing to take the risk and look foolish and do it because it's what's best for you. It's in your best interest, regardless of where you're at and what people will think about you. So he says sometimes you feel foolish, even look foolish, but you do the thing anyway. And it's very important that in life, there's going to be so many things that you feel foolish for doing, that you may even look foolish for doing, but it works. It's effective. It serves you. It serves your needs. It helps you show up to be the best you can be for the community. It helps you to expand, grow, stretch, but it looks silly to everyone else. People may not understand why you wear the same hat every single day, but it makes you feel good. People may not understand why you eat your lunch in the same place every day, or you tell the same joke and chuckle at it every single day, or if you go the same place every Saturday and act like it's your very first time being there, even though you've been there 30, 40, 50 billion times. It doesn't matter if people don't understand what makes you happy or what works for you. And it doesn't even matter if you feel uncomfortable or foolish in the moment of doing it, as long as you know it works and it's effective and it is getting you where you would like to be. Because eventually it will be the new normal. You will get comfortable with that and you will have to shake it up and try something new. But you want to live in uncomfortability. You want to get comfortable in uncomfortability. The fool may be a fool, or he may be the wisest person in the room. You never know. So I love this idea of the book. This was a very, very big idea, and I absolutely agree. It was, to me, so far, I've not read it in a better way or put in a better way, but he talks about that there's 3 needs in society, and the 3 needs in society is to survive, save, or serve. And he talks about them. There are the 3 universal reasons for working: survive, to meet your basic living needs; save, to go beyond your basic needs and expand your life; and serve, to make a contribution to the world around you. He said, unfortunately, most people spend their entire lives focusing on the first. A smaller number focus on the second, but those rare few who are truly successful, not just financially, but genuinely successful in all aspects of their life, keep their focus squarely on the third. And I just thought that was so interesting, because in our everyday lives, we can see this play out. We know so many people who are just working, living paycheck to paycheck to survive. They barely have enough money to eat, make ends meet. They robbing Peter to pay Paul. They're borrowing, lending against credit just to kind of survive. They don't make enough money. And so this is kind of like the norm of the human experience. Of course, every living thing wants to survive. So it's just like the bare minimum of any living thing, which is survival. But it's so sad when you realize that majority of people may spend their whole lifetime in survival. Unlike other animals and unlike Mother Nature, we have the opportunity to not just survive, but to thrive. So we have other stages that we can go through and move out of the survival stage into thriving. And then, so if you can move beyond the survival stage, then they talk about the saving stage, which means that you have a little bit more left over that you can kind of save to improve the quality of your life. So, for instance, at the end of the month, you may have $400 left after you paid all your bills and put a little something aside for you to entertain yourself. You may have $400 left. Now you can put that $400 into the bank and continue to do so, and eventually you can improve the quality of your life because you can afford a new level of luxury after saving. And especially if you continue to earn more as you're saving. So that is the next level. But we all know, in America, many people do not even have a savings account. Most people are just in survival mode, and if they have savings, their savings do not go beyond 6 months. So again, it to be human means to survive, but you can also up level your experience and create quality, which would be the next level of saving. But ultimately, the last level, which is serving, is about adding meaning after quality. So first you start at the bare minimum, you save and add quality, and then the third one is about adding meaning, which is service. It doesn't feel good only just to go, I'm taking care of myself and I'm doing it well. While you're proud of yourself for doing that, it feels better to go, I'm taking care of myself, I'm doing it well, and I'm also giving back. I'm also, changing the world. I'm also adding value to the world. I'm also impacting other people's lives. So the third one about service is so important. You have to have meaning to life, meaning beyond just surviving. You have to have meaning to make you want to jump up in the morning and make you seize the day and take every new opportunity and learn and grow and develop. If you don't, you're just surviving and you feel obligated. And it doesn't feel good to be in an obligation state, especially for extended periods of time, a year, 2 years, 10. And so the goal, hopefully everyone's goal, is to find a way that you can serve the world, that you can give meaning to the people you love and the people you don't know, how you can add value, how you can make the world better than it was when you first got here. That's ultimately what we want as human beings. We want to give of ourselves, and we want what we give to impact the world. And so if you can look at your experience through the lens of service, it is a powerful, powerful mindset to help you reconcile your experiences here. And it gives you so much peace and enjoyment when you wake up every day with a purpose. You know what you're doing, you know what you're going, you know who you are, you know what your strengths are, you know how you want to serve the world. It's a confident feeling, and it's a way to see the world. It's a lens through which you can see the world, which is service. How can I be of service? Because through serving you, I serve myself. I can be my best self by serving you. Serving another person gives life meaning. And so it's a beautiful opportunity to give of yourself and to move beyond just survival and saving, but serving the world, giving that beautiful uniqueness that you have, sharing with the world the experiences that make you so beautiful. And the last one I want to talk about is networks. So as a business major, we talked a lot about networks and networking. They talk about networking a lot. They network talk you to death. Network is so important. It's not what you know, it's who you know. It's so important. It's so important. You have to know people. People get you to where you want to be. You need to know people. Yes. That is true. I do not disagree with that. That is not my problem, because you can know people, but they're not your representative. What I mean is, you can know people who will be in, who will have opportunities presented to them that they can recommend people for, but they are not your representative. They will your name will never be brought up in a room full of people who have the necessary means to be able to help you propel to where you want to be. It's like having a mouthpiece, someone who vouches for you, someone who's actually in these big meetings that you don't get invited to, who speaks up for you, who puts your name into the hat, who speaks life to you, about you, who tells all the beautiful things and unique things that you could add to whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish. Everyone needs representatives, people who like you, people who want you to win, people who got your back, people who are representing you even when you're not there to represent yourself. And how many of us have that? We could think about our friends, we could think about our families, we could think about our associates, our co-workers, our managers. How many people actually have people in their life that are representatives of them, that only talk good about you when you're not there, who bring you up and recommend you for opportunities and nominate you for things because they think you're so awesome, they think you're so great, they like you, they want to see you win. They're not competing with you. They don't have a reason not like you. They actually support you, and you win and they win. How many people do you have like that in your life? Because I will say not very many. And if some of us do have people who are great representers of who we are, but they are never in these big meetings. They're not around people who have the means to help you accomplish what you want to accomplish. So networking is very important, but networking also has to come from people who like you, who see you, who will represent you when you're not around. And a lot of times we're around people who competing with us secretly, who don't really like us, don't really like themselves, don't really like their predicament. And so they smiling behind your face. And when an opportunity presents themselves that they can't take advantage of, they won't represent or they won't nominate you because they don't want you to win over them. It's a race. It's a dog eat dog for them, mentality for them. How many people do we have who sit in opportunity or meetings full of opportunities and nominate you? And so in the book, it says, now by a network, I don't necessarily mean your customers or clients. I mean a network of people who know you, like you, and trust you. They may never buy a thing from you, but they always got your best. They always got your back, got you in the back of their minds. They're people who are personally invested in seeing you succeed. And of course, that's because you are the same way about them. So I can't tell you how many times that I'm cheerleading for people and I'm happy for them. I want them to succeed. And their wins don't necessarily trigger anything negative on me or make me self-reflect. And I'm genuinely happy for them. I want them to win. Them winning is me winning. As long as, if this is a shared experience for every miserable person, it counts against you. For every happy person improves your experience here in this world. So if I'm going to be tied to you, I need you to be winning. I want you to win. I want to support you to win because it's a win for you, it's a win for me, it's a win for us all. If everyone would be winning, how much misery would there be in the world? If everyone was winning all the time in the ways that they want, that they value, that they did the work and they found out what they value and they started to pursue these and they won every single time, would people still be miserable? So I want everybody to win. I am not competing with anyone, and I cannot tell you how many times I'm around people supporting them, wanting them to win. And then when I win, they show their true colors, and you can see that they were never supported for you, that you were always competition for them, even though you never considered yourself to be their competition. So you have to be careful around the people that you call your network or you that represent you. You have to be careful. You have to know who this person is when you're not around. How do they represent themselves? How do they represent other people that they love? And how do they represent you when you're not around? Do they speak up for you? Do they vouch for you? Do they nominate you? Do they believe in your work? Do they trust you? Do they like you? Do you feel like you're more on fire once you have left their company as opposed to drained? And so it's so important that our network be of people who actually really like us, value us, and trust us. In a way that you can find the people who like you, value, and trust you is to find people who like, value, and trust themselves. So you cannot get love or give love, I should say, unless you have it. So self-love, in my opinion, is the only love, and you cannot give what you do not have. So if a person does not love themselves, they cannot be loving you. If a person is not happy for their experiences, they cannot be happy for yours. If a person is not happy with their life, they cannot be happy with yours or for yours. And so you have to get around people who are winning, and then therefore they have no extra space or time to compete against you. They are focused on winning, and then they are focusing on supporting other winners. And so the main point of this book that I just love and why I read it, yearly and sometimes a couple of times a year is because I believe service is so important, and service should be a value that we live by. It should be the lens in which you see the world. How can you be of service? How can you use your talents, your gifts, your abilities to serve the world? It feels so good when you can give to people and you see that your giving develops and change and helps them grow. You don't really need anything in return, because you know that this is a shared experience, and what you do for them, you're doing for yourself ultimately. And so if we can change our minds from the reason why we do anything is for profit or for status or for acceptance too, I do it to serve, because I ultimately want to be the change that I want to see in this world. And I don't want to be, a part of the problem always complaining. I can be the solution. I can serve others. I can feel the need. I can fill the gaps. I can be, whatever it is that I feel like is missing in this world. I can be it. I can serve through those lens. Don't you want to wake up excited every day, excited to get out in the world and do work and experience the world? That comes when you change your mind from, doing things for profit and doing them to serve, to be of service. If you believe in something, some higher power, you believe that you are supposed to be of service to your human race anyway, and to of what is bigger. And if what is bigger is all part of the whole, again, as a shared experience for every miserable person affects your experience. So it's up to you, or it's in your best interest to add whatever's missing, to add the positivity, to add the love, to add the fun, to add the joy, to be of service, to show up for people the way people hadn't shown up for you. How many times do you wish that someone was there to show up for you, to do things different, and to talk to you, to be there for you, to fall in, to fill the gap, to serve you because you were worthy, or you are worthy of that service? How many times did somebody fail you? This is the opportunity for you to not fail another person, for you to show up, for you to be there, for you to serve the world and help add value and make it a beautiful place to live in and to thrive. We don't just want to exist. And through serving others, it's no way that you will be able to just exist, because it's gratifying helping somebody other than yourself anyway. But the more you help people, the more it comes back to you, because it's the effort that you put out, as long as you expect it. As long as you know that what you're doing is to help other people, and just like you want to help and serve other people, you expect to be helped and served when it's your time, the ebb and flow of life. And so a lot of people, enjoy being of service, but their ego cannot take service. And so you have to be receptive to service, and you have to serve. And so I just really love this book because it humbly explains why being a servant is so important to you receiving service. And so I really do think that this is a beautiful book. Tell me, what do you think about service? Do you see your life through profit? Is everything that you do for profit? Is it for status? Is it for acceptance? Or is it to be the change you want to be in this world, to serve in a way that you weren't served? Please share. Tell me if you read this book and what's your favorite parts of the book and what lessons you have learned from it. And please tell me if anything I've said to you has kind of changed your mind about, looking at the world through the lens of profit as opposed to service. You can choose service is better, to look at the world through service than the world through money, because at the end of your life, the money is not what you will be thinking about. You will think about how you served the world and the connections you made and how you loved people and how people loved you. And the way that you get more of those moments and more of those feelings that you could live off in your old age is to be of service while you're still active, while you're still able to. So when you're not able to be of service to people, you are filled with beautiful memories and you feel loved and cherished for the opportunity to serve the world, to be your best self, to grow and to develop and to be the change you wanted to see in this world. It is a life full of wonder and meaning and substance when you decide to serve, when you decide that life has meaning through service. So I hope this helps, work life warriors. Please share your comments below and enjoy your day.